Hello everyone, this is Brian with Ingenious Technologies. I want to thank you for joining us today for today's webinar. Today we're talking about 11AX, Ingenious' 11AX solution. We'll briefly go through a couple things which I'll cover, but I want to thank everybody for joining us today. We really appreciate your time. This should be a fairly short webinar, and we'll cover a lot of different things. We'll cover kind of the future of Wi-Fi demands. We'll talk on a high level of Wi-Fi 6 or 11AX technology, and then we'll go into the Ingenious Wi-Fi 6 access point that will be that has launched and will be available in the next week or a week and a half, somewhere around there. So look out for that, and we'll talk about a pre-order program that we're running, and we'll talk about that at the end. I'd like to be able to answer everybody's questions, so let's save those questions to the end of the webinar. We also have a survey, so if you don't mind, if you could do the survey, that would help us out a lot. You know, we've been in business for 20 years, so we're constantly learning from our customers, so that would be great if you could take that survey for us. So these are the things that we'll be covering. Let's talk about some of the future Wi-Fi demands and kind of what we've seen throughout the years and where the trends are happening. So the shift to wireless traffic is definitely growing, and we've seen this with all of our customers and everybody that we work with. It's dramatically growing, and we're seeing that growth from basically offloading cellular traffic. So from your cell phone to your Wi-Fi network or your network in a building, for example, or even outside of the building. We're seeing that from basically tablets. We're seeing it from smartphones. We're also seeing that obviously everybody wants to avoid wiring costs. So that is a big push for minimizing the cost of wiring within buildings and within homes. The estimated cost per household is $660, and per building it's about $2,000 for wiring within a building. So to avoid those costs, obviously Wi-Fi networks are going in. Obviously the IoT connectivity growth that's going on right now, that is a huge impact on wireless or smart devices, I should say, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But that growth in itself is driving a lot of demand for the number of connected devices, the bandwidth that's being used. And basically the convenience of Wi-Fi just in general is, you know, it's obviously rapidly growing and becoming more and more popular. I've been here for some time now, so I've seen this growth dramatically over the years. So it's great for us. It's very exciting times for us, and 11AX is an exciting time for everybody, I believe. In 2017, wired networks accounted for about 48% of IP traffic. Wi-Fi accounted for 43%, and that was in 2017, and that was mobile and or cellular networks also, which was included in that number. But by 2022, wired networks will account for about 29% of the IP traffic, and Wi-Fi and or mobile devices will account for 71% of IP traffic. So there's huge growth where we're seeing the relationship between wired and wireless shifting to wireless. So that's great news for companies like us and for you too, because if you're implementing Wi-Fi, you should see more demand. Another part of that demand is obviously smart devices or IoT devices. Visual Network Index reported that machine-to-machine connections will grow 2.5 times. So that's the fastest growth within a number of different categories, and will be the majority of growth within wireless connected devices. Second is smartphones. They will actually grow second fastest, around 9%. And connected TVs will also grow third fastest of 7%. So there's a lot of growth moving into devices becoming wireless. And I'm sure if you have a smart home or just in your office, more and more devices are becoming wirelessly connected. In the consumer world, we're seeing about 8.8% growth in regards to wireless devices being added. In the business world, actually the growth is a little bit higher, around 12%. So there's a lot of growth there that we're seeing, and so hence that's why we needed to have a new technology like Wi-Fi 6 help us in these kind of situations. The content that's being shared and used in the wireless world in regards to smartphones, I think number one was like Facebook, YouTube, and just browsers in general. And it's similar with tablets. It's YouTube, Netflix, and also browsers. So there's a lot of traffic, rich content that's being shared and moved around in the Wi-Fi world. So just some stats in regards to what we've seen and what we pulled from Visual Network Index is by 2022, Wi-Fi mobile devices will account for about 71% of IP traffic. Connected devices per person will grow from 8 to 13.4 devices. When we designed networks, we used to calculate about 2.5 devices per person that they would have in a hotel situation. Now we calculate probably around 4 to 5 devices per person being connected to the network. So the number of devices that each person will have that connects either through the wire or wireless will grow dramatically. So we will see that in the future. Fixed IP traffic will grow at a compound annual growth rate of about 24% between 2017 and 2022. Wi-Fi connectivity is approximately 2.5 times faster than mobile devices, and that's why we see a lot of people shifting their data from cellular to Wi-Fi, because the communication is just faster. And that's very specific to the US. The growth in the US for bandwidth is dramatically growing. North America will experience the highest Wi-Fi speeds, which is about an average of 83.8 megabits per second by 2022. And then IoT connected devices or smart devices will be 51% of the total devices connected by 2022. So they're shifting to wireless. There's a lot of devices that are connecting to your wireless networks, a lot of bandwidth being used in the Wi-Fi networking world, high-end applications that are being utilized via Wi-Fi. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot of demand there that we have to meet, and we have to be ready for that. So hence, that's where our solution comes in. Where we're seeing this demand is in a lot of different areas. So the objective is to make better, faster, and of course, smarter spaces with Wi-Fi connectivity. You know, you have smart homes, smart offices, smart schools, hotels that are taking advantage of wireless connected devices to basically just boost productivity, improve customer experiences, make building management more efficient, enhancing security, and the list goes on. The intent is to make these spaces smarter, so you have all these benefits that come with this connectivity. I mean, just in my home alone, I have probably 20 devices connected most of the time. And I would call my home a dumb home. And in the smart home, it gets even more. There's more devices that are connecting to the network, and you can imagine in an office space like a doctor's office or a medical office or an assisted living application, the list of devices that can be connected and bring your own devices, that list continuously grows, and the bandwidth being shared among all those devices just continues to grow. Just to give you some ideas about smart devices, in a home kind of example, where a lot of people can really relate to, doorbells, for example, can be wireless. Garage door openers can be wireless. Microwaves, refrigerators, dishwashers, ovens, stovetops, even the stove hoods over the stovetops can be wireless. The lighting, the HVAC, surveillance, security, the tablets that are running within your home, the smartphones that are running in your home, irrigation systems running, gaming systems. So the list goes on. So all these devices are becoming wireless and they're connecting to your Wi-Fi networks. And so how do we handle all of these devices sharing different information, different bandwidths of information or throughput on your network? How do we handle all these things? And that's where really Wi-Fi 6 comes into play. And the really interesting thing about Wi-Fi 6 or 11ax is it's based upon 11ac. So the new 802.11ax technology builds upon real-world deployments of 802.11ac. And so they've really used 11ac as a benchmark within the real-world instances and tried to design around that, improve that Wi-Fi experience. So it's really designed to address the demands for high capacity on enterprise networks, and it deepens and strengthens wireless capabilities for more users at the end of the day. So you're getting stronger, steadier, and more efficient communication. 802.11ax enables more efficient channel use. It reduces latency between AP and client devices and provides other groundbreaking features, which I'll cover at a high level. There's a ton of information that continues to come up with on the web. So it's very easy to look at these different features in great depth. There's a lot of white papers out there from us and from other vendors that talk about these different features and how they work. So you can find this information pretty easily online. It's coming down to designing for high density connectivity and simultaneously serving lots of devices per AP, optimal performance in dense environments with many APs. So you basically have multiple APs now on shared channels. You have uplink resource scheduling versus contention. It's really trying to handle all the contention that we're seeing in today's world and efficiently serving multiple traffic types. So for example, low traffic such as like an instant message or an IoT device versus 4K streaming or large downloads. So, you're competing for all this information on the network itself. So let's talk about some of the features within 11ax or Wi-Fi 6. So OFDM is probably the most talked about feature and a huge benefit, which improves overhead among users, allows for more efficient use of resources. It scales resources for different types of traffic. So back to that, if you have an instant message versus 4K video, so it scales to that. It basically increases overall efficiency, and that's what OFDMA does with Wi-Fi 6, for example. Otherwise, you have uncoordinated resource management. You have devices all competing and trying to get resources till they succeed, and sometimes they fail. It works. The current state, the current condition, it works better with a single AP scenario. Whereas now that we're treating or supporting more users, you have to have a lot of access points deployed because you want your access points to be able to handle more users. So you have to have more access points in play. Multi-user MIMO, which was introduced, it was a part of 11ac. It was really more on the 5 gigahertz, and it was for download. Multi-user MIMO now will be upload and download, and that will increase capacity. It's going to result in higher speeds per user. It's ideal for high bandwidth applications. So as an example, an architecture firm that is passing designs around and things like that, multi-user MIMO might be a better usage for that, or better tech for that particular office. Whereas in a large conference room where you have, or in a conference or a trade show, OFDMA will be the benefit within that type of deployment. (1024) QAM over 256 QAM. Currently, we're utilizing 256 QAM. The new Wi-Fi 6 will be based around 1024. Basically, you're getting 10 bits per symbol versus 8, which basically equates for gigabit Wi-Fi. You're going to see upwards to 25% higher capacity versus what you would see on 256 QAM. So you're going to see a lot faster speeds, higher capacities. So this is a real benefit. This is really more around shorter distances. You also will have longer OFDM symbols, 4 times longer. And what that equates to is basically increasing efficiency and higher rates. It also is very helpful. It addresses outdoor use cases such as malls, college campuses, public venues, and things. So there's a lot of benefits within the features within Wi-Fi 6 or 802.11ax. Target wait time is another feature that basically is negotiating between AP and device and client devices and defines specific times to really access the medium. It's going to reduce contention and overlap between users. So very helpful. It will help increase the device sleep time to reduce overall power consumption, such as an IoT device, for example, or a mobile device like your phone or something. A good example of that is the Ring doorbell, which is a smart device. It's running video, and it needs to sleep for X amount of time until it captures video or sees signs of movement. So, if you're operating on just the battery of the Ring doorbell, for example, you might have battery life for 3 months. Well, the improvement there would be maybe 4 months or 5 months, as an example. That's a very rough example. BSS coloring and spatial reuse is really potentially used to decrease the channel contention that we see today. So BSS coloring will tag packets with a particular color. It's really actually a digit. And to differentiate between adjacent service sets or different networks within a network, and to be able to reuse a channel. And that is not the case now. So that's a big benefit in part of 802.11ax or Wi-Fi 6. So these are some of the features that you'll see a lot of content on, a lot of information around in regards to these different features for Wi-Fi 6. And at the end of the day, it's basically allowing you to, allowing the devices to be more efficient, increasing the bandwidth and being more efficient within large-scale networks or a lot of connected device networks, for example. So Ingenius's 11ax access point is, it's equipped with the Qualcomm's newest chipset. The product model name is the EWS 357AP, which is a Wi-Fi 6 or 11ax device, which deepens and expands the capabilities of Wi-Fi as well as fortifies small and mid-sized businesses, and basically through stronger, steadier, and more efficient wireless connections. And we wanted to make sure that we deliver this not only to the enterprise space, but also into the SMB space. So we want to put next generation cutting edge technology and features within reach of forward-thinking SMBs. That is the idea behind this, to get it into everybody's hands. There's definitely a need for that. We're seeing the growth dramatically within the networks. This really fast tracks forward-thinking SMBs to take advantage of some of the most sophisticated wireless technology to date. Now, early adopters will no longer have to wait to take advantage of enterprise-level technology and features. You can take advantage of that now. And like I said, we have a pre-order program that's running that I will talk about later. So this particular access point is a 2x2 11ax. It's a managed access point solution that fulfills Wi-Fi connectivity demands in small, mid-sized organizations. So it really matches the needs of the majority of today's clients, which are 1x1 and 2x2 antenna designs like cell phones, for example, excuse me. Enables advancements within a network without demanding a significant restructuring. So you don't have to go in with this access point and restructure your switching fabric because you have an access point now that needs higher bandwidth, more power consumption. You can go right into any situation and deploy Wi-Fi 6 into existing networks today. It obviously supports existing and future device and application needs. It is backwards compatible with legacy Wi-Fi. So 802.11a, B, G, and AC, so all backwards compatible. It really re-energizes the capacity and reach of 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz. So the 11AC advancements have really, it's only 5 gigahertz. 11AX is on 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, so that's a huge improvement. And I think a large portion of that is obviously due to the IoT growth that is out there. A majority of these devices are operating on 2.4 that we've seen so far. So major improvements with the new technology. And you can see that our access point design has changed, and I will show an example of the access point later. So the EWS 357AP, it retails for $189. This is a managed access point, so it can actually be managed in multiple ways. You can actually set this device up and you can it will autonomously work or be managed, or it can be managed under one of our switches, which acts as a controller, or it can be managed under our network management software called EasyMaster. Again, this is an 802.11ax device, so it operates with AC, A, G, and N. It's a dual band device, 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. Theoretical speeds are 1.2 gig on the 5 gigahertz, 574 megabits on the 2.4 gigahertz. Like I said, it's a 2x2 internal antenna design. It's a 3 dBi antenna gain on those antennas. It has a single RJ45 port, which is a gigabit port. It is 802AF compliant, so the power consumption on this device is actually really low. It's 12.5 watt. That's maximum power consumption that we've seen from this device so far. For this device, it's an adjustable 20 dBm radio, so you can actually turn down the radio output power or turn that power up to 20. A lot of deployments, we typically turn those down for roaming capabilities. It does support WPA2, and actually it supports WPA3, which is the newest wireless security that helps actually onboard IoT devices, makes it more secure and faster IoT onboarding on the network itself. EasyMaster will actually allow you to manage and monitor 1,000+ APs. So you do get captive portal guest networking with that particular device. You can do seamless roaming, bandwidth control per SSID. So there's a lot of features on here that are supported with this particular device. It will have multiple modes within the device. So you will see that within the GUI when you actually log into the device itself. It is it's probably one of our most sleek, minimalistic designs of our access points. Obviously you have mounting and reset button and power jacks and RJ45. This particular unit, you'll start to see more and more, they do not come with power adapters. They will come with, they'll come as is, and we'll give you the opportunity to buy a PoE injector or PoE switch, but these devices will not come with a power adapter. For another week, we will be running, maybe another 2 weeks, we'll be running a pre-order for the 11AX access point. Basically, you're buying one at the retail price of $189, and you're getting a second one for free. Again, it's 11AX 2x2 managed indoor access point. Product scheduled to arrive the first week of April, which is right around the corner, literally next week, maybe the beginning of the second week of April. We're only limiting to a quantity of 2 per customer, or basically address. So definitely take advantage of that, and let me just show you where that's at really quick. Let's see here. So if you go to our home page, you can simply just scroll down and you have today's webinar, but you also have the pre-order demo. And you can order directly from us. Like I said, it's only until probably the end of next week. We've already started taking pre-orders, so we're pretty close to running out now. And then it will be delivered into the channel. But we wanted to make sure that we got 11AX into as many hands as possible, and this is one of the ways that we're doing it. It's part of our celebration as a 20-year-old company. Wi-Fi is 20 years, and so is Ingenious. Ingenious has been around for 20 years, and this is part of our celebration. And we wanted to be able to offer the latest and greatest technology, Wi-Fi technology, along with our 20-year celebration and Wireless's 20-year celebration. So that promotion is running right now. And what I wanted to do really quick is just give you an idea of, this is our current model, access point model. This is our traditional access points. The 11AX model is, oh wait, hopefully you can see this, is much thinner, a little bit wider. But this is our 2x2 antenna design, 11AX ceiling mount. We will have a 4x4 design, which will be a little bit larger, but very slim, fits on the ceiling mount really well. So this is the device that we're doing a pre-order on. So I just wanted to share that with you. And what I'll do, that covers today's webinar. As I mentioned, I told you it would be try to keep it short and sweet. So what I'll do is I'll open it up for any questions if you have any questions. Yeah. So upgrading existing customers, will we need to swap out the PoE switch controllers? Now, if you're currently running, that's the beauty of the EWS 357 AP. It is a 802.3 AF compliant device. So it will operate with any AT compliant switch or any AF compliant switch or a PoE injector. So we'll work with anybody's injectors. We have multiple PoE switches, anywhere from an AF switch all the way up to an AT switch. So yeah, so if you already have our existing switches or anybody's switch, this device is going to work. That's the beauty of, that's why we did a 2x2 design with the power consumption's pretty low. At max capacity, you can take advantage of it right away. So that's the beauty of this particular product. Let's see. So I think I answered that question. PoE 802.3 AF or AT, it's AF. It will obviously work with an AT device, no problem. It just won't consume as much power. When is the model available in the Middle East? That I would have to confirm. I'm not sure. I appreciate the question, but it should be a little bit later than probably the US. The US is actually delivering the product to our customer base first, and then it will roll out to the other areas or other regions that we cover. But great question. I appreciate that. The demo buy is through the partner portal or somewhere else. So the demo, great question. The demo buy is actually right online. You just go to our homepage. We wanted to make it available to all customers because we do work with a lot of different customers throughout the space. So we wanted to make it available to everybody and really get it into a lot of people's hands and have them actually start using 802.11ax and experience that that device. So you just go to our homepage and you just scroll down a little bit and it's off to the right. And I think I can share that again really quick. So just go to ingeniustech.com, scroll down, just click here to pre-order, and it'll take you right to the site and you can do the pre-order right there. Again, it's limited to 2 units per customer, so just so you know. Yeah, so another question about AF or AT, so great questions. I think I actually repeated myself on the presentation, but it's an AF compliant device. What is the limit on purchasing? Oh, the 2 for 1. It is basically one per customer. So make sure you take advantage of that. This is on the EWS 357 AP. So is the Neutron series, can it be managed through EasyMaster? Yes, that is correct. So all of our devices that we launched today are managed by our network management software called EasyMaster. It can also be managed by our switches. Our switches can manage up to 50 access points. And that could be an 8-port switch. It could be a 48-port switch. It doesn't matter. It's going to manage up to 50 access points. We'll have other ways of managing these devices, which will launch this year. So look out for that. So that's very exciting news that will be coming. So there's maybe some more questions that need to be answered too. So, okay. I'll try to be as clear as possible. Just want to make sure the webinar is being recorded, so we'll make sure to share that information. Will existing non-802.11ac clients see any improvement using these devices, non-802.11ax? That is a great question. So I'm telling you yes, that is the case. So I'll give you an example. So and the reason you're going to see that is because we have a new board layout, we have new components, we have a new protocols written into the device, we have the newest chipset, that's either the Wi-Fi chipset, the Ethernet chipset. You're going to see overall improvements in regards to client capacity and actually speed. So you will see an improvement. The example that I was going to give you is when we launched a product called the EWS 360 AP, which is a 3x3 wave 1 access point. We then launched our EWS 355 AP, which is a 2x2 wave 2 access point. You can already see 30% improvements over the newer hardware, and the technology was a part of it too because it was wave 2, but just the improvements with the new board, the new components, the restructuring of the protocols and things like that. Not restructuring, but a refresh on the protocols and things like that, you're going to see an improvement. So yes, I would say yes, you're going to see an improvement. You're going to see, we're already seeing improvements in our testing on 11ax over wave 2. So yeah, you will see improvements with 11ax. So very happy to tell you, yes, that is true. What is the model of ingenious PoE injector that works with the AX unit? So typically when we launch, unless it's proprietary, any PoE injector that we launch that's compliant is going to work with our AX unit. So currently we have 2. We have, well, technically we have 3, but I'll talk about 2. There's the EPA 5006 GAT. The GAT is AT compliant. That's why you see the AT in the part number. That will work with the 11ax access point. If you do a pre-order, you'll see that particular version being offered within that because we're not offering a power adapter, so we wanted to offer a PoE injector or a switch. The other model of PoE injector is the EPA 5006 GP, P standing for proprietary. That offers actually over the 30-watt power that you would see with AT. It actually offers like 32.3 watts of power. that will actually work with the AX access point as well. But that's our proprietary PoE injector. If you went with somebody else's proprietary PoE injector, it might not work. So you want to use a proprietary PoE injector from Ingenious, or a compliant PoE injector from Ingenious, or from another vendor if you'd like. Oh, good question. What does the GUI look like? Great question. I'll try to share more information in regards to the GUI, but there will be a refresh on the GUI, but it will look very similar to our current version. But we are doing a refresh on the GUI along with some of our management options that we have coming, such as our cloud option that we have. There's some really cool updates that we're doing to the GUI. So currently it looks probably a cleaner version than what you're used to looking at from older models. So that will be improved, and that continues to get improved. I have a potential network of 1,000 users in a sports bar. Should I wait for the 4x4 units, or will the 2x2 units work? That's a great question. I quite honestly, I would probably lean towards the 4x4. I do believe that the 2x2 would work, but because of 1,000 clients or 1,000 users, I would lean maybe towards the 4x4. We're doing more and more testing on our 2x2 and our 4x4s. I will say this, and Eddie Lee is one of our senior product managers. He's also with us in the room, and he might be able to answer this question better. But we've done some testing with our 2x2 11AX, and we've already seen improvements over our 2x2 11AC. And our 2x2 11AC, the client density on that is how many you would say? Like
the clients is like 50, yeah, 50
per band.
Yeah, per band.
So on a 2x2 11AC, I would say around 100 concurrent clients, and we're seeing improvements already on the 2x2 11AX. So you could probably go as high as 150 clients on one 11AX 2x2. But that's still being determined. It could be higher, but I would lean towards a 4x4. Long answer to your short question. Sorry about that. Is this available in Latin America? Yes, it will be available in Latin America. We do work with a number of different Latin America distributors, and this will definitely be available. Specifically, you want to check out Syscom. They're probably going to have the first availability within Latin America, so look out for them being the first to have it available. What about the EWS 377 AP? What is the range of the 357 versus the 377? I would say that the ranges are going to be very, very similar. It's really going to come down to capacity. The 377 will come out shortly after the 357. So the 357 being a 2x2 antenna design, the 377 will be a 4x4 antenna design. That 377 will come out approximately a month after the 357. But range-wise, no difference. It's going to be similar, and we kind of stay away from giving ranges because it's always, as everybody knows, dependent on the environment. All right. Somebody's already taken advantage of the buy one get one promo, so that's great. We currently we're using EasyMaster. Will it work with this model? Yes, it will work with this model. So no worries there. The 357, the 377 will work with EasyMaster. And we continue to update EasyMaster, so the features continue to get richer and richer within EasyMaster. User capacity on the 4x4 spec, I would probably want to get back to you on that question. Great question, but I would probably want to get back to you on that because I know we're testing, quite honestly, we're testing the S10 with our devices, we do simulations in regards to client devices, but we're also doing real-world client testing devices, and we're actually using the S10, the Samsung S10, which is 11AX phone, so we're testing with that particular device. But the capacities will be higher, 200 plus, I would say, easily, just to give you a ballpark. A lot of questions about client max. The 4x4, I'm saying around 250, 200, 250, somewhere around there. Maybe this question is good for Eddie and or Gabriel. Gabriel is also in the room. He's one of our senior field applications engineers. The question is, side question on the AC unit, what is the capacity of the EWS 370 AP, for example? 370, the 4x4.
Yes, so I would say with
100 per band, is that?
For non-AX clients, because obviously you have high efficiency with the AX, it depends. Sorry.
I was going to answer for him.
It depends upon the obviously on the client capabilities and also the mixture of them, like how much ACs do you have, how much AX do you have involved in there. I would say we're not going to be able to see the true numbers until you get about 30 to 40% density of one over the other.
But the question is in regards to the 370. Just think about the 370 11AC. What is the normal capacity of the EWS 370?
It's about 100 per band.
I've seen about 180 in the real world.
Okay.
Total.
Perfect. Thanks. Oh, so the great question. Will there be a buy one get one for the 377? That's to be determined. It depends on how successful the 357 buy one get one free is. So make it successful so I can do one for the 377. But yeah, so yeah, that's to be determined. So right now we've had really good responses with the 357 because the 350, don't get me wrong, the 357 capacity wise is going to be great and the speed is going to be greatly increased. So that is something that will improve over Wave 2 11AC, and we're already seeing great improvements with 11AC. Generally, well, obviously, because we don't have 11AX in our hands today for our customers, but all of our deployments are Wave 2. And that's what we recommend for today's deployments. And, you know, it's been in the market for some time, and we have a lot of deployments and a lot of network designs around 11AC Wave 2, and it's done very, very well. The 355s performed really well. There's more 11AC that will be coming out, such as a tri-band. Another 4x4 will come out shortly, so just keep an eye out on that. But 11AX, you'll see it actually next week, starting to ship end of next week. Actually, maybe the beginning of the second week, and you'll get communication on that. So make sure you take advantage of the buy one, get one. This is limited quantity, limited to customers, so just make sure you're taking advantage of that. Another great question that I don't want to pass up, using EasyMaster, the AP SNMP settings appear gone. Is it possible to keep SNMP working for monitoring than using? No, you're going to either use EasyMaster or you're going to use SNMP. EasyMaster is there so you don't have to use SNMP to make it easier, but we know that we have some really talented customers out there that have used SNMP and know the ins and outs of SNMP, and they have great network management, monitoring and management through SNMP. So we can provide the MIDs to you to be able to help in those scenarios. And then Eddie Lee can probably comment a little more on that too. So.
Thanks, Brian. So basically, like Brian just mentioned, if you want to use EasyMaster, you can just use EasyMaster to manage 11AX AP, or like we have some customer, they are NSP, managed service provider, and they usually request the MIP file from us and use as an MP to manage by their platform. But if you really want to use the Easy Master to manage your access point, we can release the Easy Master API for you to integrate to your system so that you can leverage Easy Master, and by our API, you can manage our access point.
Great question, thank you. I think that is a majority of the chats that I'm seeing and the questions that I've received so far. Hopefully I read off or answered all the questions. As I mentioned, this is all recorded, so you'll be able to grab the recording later. If you have any questions for me, you can either reach me via LinkedIn or reach me via email. My email address is Brian, BRYAN .Slayman, S as in Sam, LAYMAN @ingeniustech.com. So feel free to give me any questions that you may have. It can be about 11AX or any of our other devices. So I want to thank everybody for joining us today, and we really appreciate your time and your business. And we hope you have a great rest of the week. So thank you very much, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, bye.